So I'm super excited for this conversation today because it's about a tactic that I am very passionate about and I believe makes a huge impact for advertisers, and that is CTV, known as connected TV out there in the marketplace. So, Sophie, where I wanted to start the conversation is it seems like everyone is talking about CTV right now. It seems like everyone ended 2025 reflecting on a lot of marketing tactics that worked, and I think CTV is becoming a more important piece of that marketing mix. And I think for 2026, marketers are going to lean in a lot deeper to CTV as well. And there's a couple different reasons that make that possible. But from my perspective, I am seeing that CTV is growing for advertisers, first of all, because it is growing in popularity for consumers. And I wanted to start off just sharing a couple stats that I thought were fascinating. And that's that about 90% of US households regularly stream weekly. So, in terms of reach, we're reaching a ton of households in the US on streaming now. And those households are watching about 5 hours a day of TV related content. And that's multi screen too. So, I think the first stat that wowed me, and I think the first validator of why CTV is becoming so big now, it's because the consumer behaviors have shifted, and that's now how they're consuming content. Um, Anecdotally, do you feel like that's the trend? Do you know a lot of people who stream? Do you stream yourself?
Yes, I stream every single night, and probably even more on the weekends. But I feel like we're seeing that across the board here. And I do agree that media companies I'm seeing them lean into CTV because, as you mentioned, that is where the growth is and where consumer attention has moved. So streaming really has become one of the primary ways that people are consuming long form video.
That's awesome. I feel like there is a an old perception that is finally broken down where it's like only these, Fortune 50 advertisers are winning with CTV and deploying media dollars on CTV. But obviously, as you and I know, a lot of technology out there has made it more accessible, especially to some advertisers that maybe have like a unique perspective of the customer journey and, unique challenges. Can you tell everyone more about the types of partners you work with and give us a little bit about their business, and then we can connect the dots on how CTV helps them out.
Yeah, so the advertisers I work with most tend to share a few commonalities. They have a high cost per sale, right? A high ticket item. They have a longer purchase cycle. And there's a path there from online research to offline conversion or in-store conversion, right? So at this phase in the funnel where we're introducing the CTV, we really want to reinforce a client's unique value props, right? These are clients with high consideration, high ticket items. People don't book the first time they visit that site, right? They're going to research, they're going to compare before they actually make that decision to purchase.
Got it. That's a great call out because I do feel like there are different industries where it's a more linear customer journey and then it's more easy to measure success. And I think something like connected TV, why one of the reasons I'm a fan of it is because it's a super premium ad experience and it is sight, sound, and motion. It's on a big screen. You have sometimes multiple members of the family there. I think it's something like 70-80% of streaming is co-viewed. So that goes a lot with, immersive household philosophy and reaching all the different stakeholders. But I think you brought up a great point because a long purchase cycle plus high cost means stress in a way to consumers, and you need to feel super confident that when you're about to deploy a big part, of your savings or whatever it is to a big purchase like that, and you're thinking about it for 3, 6, 9 months, you need to have really high confidence in that brand you're about to transact with. Any thoughts on how CTV and helps build trust? Have you found that that's been a good avenue for your advertisers to express some of their trust value props?
Yeah, first off, I always recommend running CTV, regardless if you're running it upper funnel, because it's a powerful advertising format, as you mentioned earlier, because it does make that lasting impression. You're showing up on the biggest screen in their home, like you said. So I think CTV allows these clients with these longer purchase cycles to stay present during that really crucial decision-making window, in a way that, as you mentioned, it builds that trust, it builds that familiarity. It's not just about awareness at this point, it's about reinforcing their brand while that person is in market and actively considering their options so that when they do make that decision, that client's brand that's been running those CTV ads in their home, in that trusted space, is the only brand that they trust.
So that makes a ton of sense. And I can completely see that a 30-second video in a premium ad environment on the big screen broadcast to multiple members and multiple stakeholders in that household is a powerful ad experience. And in terms of attention and impact and trust building, you really can't find that anywhere else but somewhere like CTV. So when you are working with your advertiser partners, do you feel like there are anyone else in the ecosystem? Like you mentioned media partners, a couple minutes ago when you were first talking. Can you explain more about how media partners can help their advertisers win with a tactic like connected TV?
So we're seeing CTV move from being a nice to have to a must have in our most successful media plans. 90% of our clients through our media partner use CTV. And if you add CTV into the mix, you're able to add multiple touch points, right? CTV can be complemented with online video, display, smart mail. That's a really powerful mix right there because by showing ads to that same household across all of their devices within the household, we can increase brand recall and that likelihood of conversion. I think it's really powerful that a client, first off, doesn't need to be doing brand awareness CTV necessarily to be successful running CTV, right? Because with the way we're implementing CTV, you're delivering video ads directly into the living rooms of households that are actively in market, right? With our first party data approach, we're able to separate those window shoppers from the people with actual buying intent. And I think that's really powerful, right? And then pairing that with us able to tie attribution and reporting to see, who actually converted, like that's the major selling point of CTV and running it with full throttle AI for me.
So with the right technology, the right audiences, the right media deployment, and the right measurement strategy, you can turn something like connected TV and the TV in general, which is historically known as like a reach, branding, hard to measure media, you can turn CTV into a performance tactic and measure down to the outcomes.